So today we're going to talk about bears, more specifically the first time I ever encountered a bear. And in order to really get the gist of the story, you're going to have to understand who my grandfather was. My grandfather was a pretty badass man. He fought, well, he didn't fight, but he taught the 11th Mountain Division in World War II. And basically the 11th Mountain Division was a division of the army dedicated to teaching soldiers how to ski and fight. He taught people how to ski and fight at the same time for basically paratroopers into the mountains of Europe. This man was training mostly in Colorado, some other areas that he did train in, but mostly in Colorado. Now, in Colorado, there's obviously quite a few bears. At this time, the grizzly bear population was basically gone. There's still no really very many grizzly bears there now. But the black bear population was still there, still is today, pretty heavily. So, safe to say that he really understood how black bears function, how they act. And he'd always tell me these stories about this black bear in his cabin in the Adirondacks, which is just an area in New York State. It's a state park. And he'd always talk about this one black bear that he called his friend, and he would talk to it on a daily basis, nearly. And needless to say, I did not believe these stories. And one day, he decided we got to go work on his cabin out in the woods. So my father and I packed up, we got all our tools and everything, and we started working on this cabin. Now, this cabin wasn't really like in the middle of bumfuck or anything, but the nearest other cabin was about 10 miles away. You know, it's pretty much in the middle of the woods, great hunting grounds. That's what the cabin was for hunting. And throughout the day, we're just working on this little cabin area. We're putting in, like, you know, whatever. We installed a new water filtration system. We worked on his well. Alright. Well, hold on a second. Holy fuck. Alright, well, first off. So, basically we're just working on installing all these different items on the land, whatever it may be, it doesn't really matter. But regardless, later that night we're all having dinner, we're hanging out around the campfire, and my grandfather says, "Oh, here he comes." And me being, you know, I think I was 12 or so, had no fucking idea what he was talking about. But I hear like a you know, a stick or two break. I'm not really thinking anything of it, but out of the corner of my eye, I do see a figure, and my grandfather just starts talking to this figure, and I see a probably, you know, smaller black bear, 300, 400 pound black bear, and it's sitting just right at the edge of the light of the fire, and he's just talking to it. And this bear is just sitting there listening to him intently, it seems. Not moving a muscle or whatever, and he's sitting there for about 15, 20 minutes. And my grandfather is just sitting there, and we're just hanging out by the fire. I'm scared shitless, my 12-year-old ass, not really understanding what the fuck's going on. And, basically this bear just hung out with us for about 20, 30 minutes and did nothing. And I believed all of my grandfather's story from that day on, from whatever the fuck he was talking about, because it was quite a life-changing experience. Speaking of life-changing experiences, I'm about to get my ass blasted here, so give me a second. Not today! Now that being said, to this day, my father does not believe this story that I told him, because he went to bed literally an hour before this bear came up and talked to us and hung out. My my father to this fucking day will be having a few beers. Will not believe me. Does not think this story ever happened. And it kind of pisses me off that he doesn't believe it, but you know, it is what it is. The same category here. My grandfather also would tell this story about him training in, holy shit, him training in the Colorado Rockies. Holy shit. Where he would basically, they'd basically just drop him out in the middle of fucking nowhere. They'd have cabins, but a lot of times they would also just be tent camping. And there's a story that he fucking told every single goddamn day when he was starting to get a little up there in age and wasn't really quite right with his wits. Couldn't remember what stories he told or not. But I could tell this story really made him happy. And one day they were out in the middle of the Rockies, not having enough food. They were having to hunt for all their own food and stuff. And they finally get an airdrop in. And this airdrop had Hershey's chocolate bars in it. Now, this airdrop only had, he said that it only had about 150 Hershey's chocolate bars. And there's about 200 people in the platoon, so he couldn't supply chocolate bars for everyone. So what he did was, he hid the chocolate bars. He didn't tell anyone or whatever, and he would just randomly sneak chocolate bars underneath people's pillows when they're out and about after they make their beds. And he said that the looks on these kids' faces when they'd get these chocolate bars was just the most amazing thing to see, because you got to remember these are kids, you know, they're 17, 18, 19 years old, and he's training them how to fight, and it's brutal conditions. So them getting a Hershey's chocolate bar was equivalent to, you know, one of us getting, you know, a couple $1,000s just dropped on our head. And this man would genuinely tell this story every single day until he eventually bit the dust, but I just, I quite like that story. He's definitely a pretty integral part of my growing up experience. I wish I got to talk to him more as an adult, but sadly not all of us get those opportunities. So if any of you guys got your grandfather still out there and they're not a piece of shit, do your best to talk to him. In the meantime, slay some fucking bugs on Helldivers, because shit is fun as hell. Now, for anyone here who hasn't played any Helldivers, I gotta say this game is probably one of the best. I wouldn't really call it a wave defense game, but it's kind of like a wave defense game that I have played. It's very, very well done. The actual like progression system is just phenomenal, and it's just like infinite fun with your buddies. Shit's fucking awesome. Alright, so I'm just gonna go on another little ramble here about my life. So this is gonna be about the first time I did shrooms. Now, for anyone out there who has done shrooms, you're gonna understand this quite a bit. You know, if you haven't done shrooms, it's not like a crazy powerful psychedelic in lower quantities, which the first time you take it, you really should take it in lower quantities. This, basically, I did it way too young. I did it at 12 years old, and I was out by a campfire, and basically, this weekend I did marijuana for the first time, I drank for the first time, and then I did shrooms for the first time, all in one go. We were all sitting out by this campfire, and the shrooms started to kick in, and I swear to God I saw little Disney animals fucking running around this campfire. Scared the living shit out of me. It made me very, very uncomfortable. Kind of set me off shrooms for a while. I didn't do shrooms again until I was 17. And all of my buddies at the time did not believe that that's what happened. But me being like 12 years old, I'm like, these guys, they don't fucking know. They've never done this. And lo and behold, that is not a normal experience when you are taking shrooms. There is not a it's not very common to vividly hallucinate small animals. That being said, the shrooms experience is quite enjoyable. I would recommend it for anyone older watching if you haven't tried it before, as long as you don't have any type of psychological trauma that will get awoken. But that being said, shrooms are pretty good for certain types of PTSD as long as you're in a safe environment and you're with someone that you can trust. I would recommend it if you have a good trip sitter. Yeah, so let me know down in the comments what kind of content you guys are into here, because I don't know exactly what niche I'd like to fill here. I don't know if I want to talk about my life. I don't know if I want to talk about games. I'm kind of in this weird spot where I feel like I can do anything, anywhere. It's just a matter of what do the people want. So just let me know what you guys are feeling, what you like, what you enjoy. Fuck, do you want me to just fart into the microphone? I don't fucking know. Tell me what to do. Give me some hints here. I'm going to be trying to be a little bit more consistent on the content uploads, at least. Trying to get you guys some more shit. Some more long-form content. One thing I do know I don't really want to do is I don't want to keep making, like, informative videos. I think they're fucking boring. Informative videos about, like, games, that is. I'll do, like, a tips and tricks video if I find some new shit, but as for, like, smoke videos and shit, I don't think I'm going to be doing that too often. Kind of just low-quality content. Not to mention, I haven't really been playing too much CS lately, and what I have been playing, I mean, it's not been insanely fun to watch, in my opinion.
Freedom never sleeps!
These eggs.
This is Pelican 1, preparing for touchdown.
Alright, one more successful extract for Super Rifle. Let's go, boys.